Oh, Jimmy's got a new desk. Nice. You can play the drums on it.
Good. It's not going to be good for audio listeners, though, is it?
It's going to be fantastic for them.
It'll be just good for the audio listeners. It'll be horrible for the video listeners because they'd have to see a weird drummer face, which I guess is like guitar faces where you're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. There you go. There's the intro done. Right. Welcome back to the Wild Ones podcast.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Wild Ones podcast, a show where we chat about bike stuff. I am Jimmy, and today I'm joined by Francis CADE.
Hey.
And producer Emily.
Oh, hello.
You didn't say anything.
I don't know what was going on in my head there. Hello, and thank you to Garmin for supporting the podcast and helping us to bring you shows like this for free.
How are you guys? What have you been up to?
Well, as you, for the viewers, you'll see on Emily's desk, there is two big pillar things. I don't know, how do you even describe them? Glass trophy medals. Awards, you could say. There are two awards on Emily's desk.
Obelisks. No, that would be bigger.
Yes, we went to the Bike Biz Awards, which is something that we mentioned. We mentioned that we were up for the awards. We were up for two awards, Media Company of the Year, and I was up for Woman of the Year.
And I've already given the spoiler, haven't I?
Yeah.
We won them both.
Yay, we did.
That is crazy. Guys, I think, and we can attribute the Media of the Year to Emily as well, really. It's not me and you, Jimmy, is it?
Is why I made her go up and do the collect the award on both of them
and do a speech.
Yes, it's your doing.
Thank you very much. We were fighting about who was going to come up, and I was pushed up. So thanks, Jimmy. We're, I guess, relatively speaking, sort of new to this space where we're YouTube based, where news, features, reviews, a podcast, and we're relatively small also. There's only the four of us, myself, Jimmy, Francis, Benny, and I guess our success really is down to the hard work these guys put in behind the scenes, and yeah, we're very lucky that we've grown such a loyal and dedicated audience, and that we get to come to work and do fun stuff every day. It's not really a job, it's just great fun. Yes, thank you very much to everyone who voted, and I haven't got anything else to say. Cheers.
I asked Nick, who's been there before, numerous times, if we actually win this thing, do we have to do a speech? Nah, don't worry about it. And then literally, as people started to go up and win the awards, they were like, "Oh, do you want to say a few words?" And I was like, "Oh, do I need to prepare anything? No, it'll be fine. I don't even know if I'm going to win." And then ended up going up twice and had to make something up. I was actually you recorded it, and I've been too scared to watch the videos.
Have you still not watched them?
In my head, it went, I didn't even say words, it didn't even make sense, but I did watch them before this to decide whether I was going to put them in.
They're good.
They're okay.
Really good.
Thank you very much. It's a real honour to be nominated amongst not only some amazing women, but also amazing experts and leaders in the bike industry. And also thank you to my colleagues, Jimmy and Francis and Benny, because I'm someone who is much more comfortable behind the scenes, behind the camera of our media business, and I think it's probably only thanks to them and them creating such a friendly and supportive environment that helped me kind of come into the limelight a little bit more and be in front of the camera as well as behind the scenes. And yeah, thank you very much.
I did realise afterwards that I'd thanked two guys. I'd given you guys credit for me being Woman of the Year, and I thought, oh, does that come across a bit weird? But actually, I stand by that thing that I made up in the moment, because especially in an industry where it is so male dominated, I think actually one of the most important things is that you have a supportive work environment, because I do think it's a team effort, and I do think it's one of the reasons that I am in front of the camera now, as well as our audience being so lovely and so receptive as well, because I could have quite easily been scared off.
Well, I guess if anything, what you perhaps have learned is you don't want to do live public speaking.
Oh my God.
In front of 200 people.
No, it's horrible. I was
200 in that room.
Sweating.
I wasn't sure from the video clip how many people there were, but that is pretty scary. You have to imagine them all naked, don't you? Or you imagine yourself naked. No, that would make you more nervous.
Well, it depends. It makes some people more confident.
Nick was actually naked. He only had clothes on the front.
Yeah.
So everyone saw him in clothes, but actually naked on the back. And that made him feel confident, which is why his speech was so good, which you should also put in.
Yeah, Nick, friend of the channel, Nick from Backyard Bike Shop, was up for Mechanic of the Year and he won that too. So
I'm not very good at speeches, but thanks a lot. Well, we can't do this without all of you guys from the industry supporting us. I mean, like Mechanic is arguably the best job in the world because we just drink coffee in this bar. So thank you very much. Good night.
So yeah, thanks to everyone that voted for us. And we are now the proud owners of 2 beautiful awards.
Yeah, thank you so much, audience.
I also wanted to give a shout out actually to Miles Baker Clark, who won the Diversity Champion Award and is also a really lovely guy and a guy we see quite regularly at these events. I would say he's a friend. I don't know if he would reciprocate.
He works in PR, so
He has to be friends with us.
exactly. Yeah, I see. I like him. I like him a lot, and I hope it isn't just PR, but it probably is.
I have spent some non-PR-y times with Miles in Sea Otter, and we had a great time.
No, he is just a lovely guy. I think that's why he's so good at his job. But he also started up an online community called Cycling Culture Club. He describes it as a platform dedicated to diversifying cycling by sharing stories from voices seldom heard from people who are wildly underrepresented. I would recommend checking out their socials. They post a lot of stuff there. They have a blog. There is a podcast as well. And I think it's a space to sort of connect and network and meet new people as well. So, yeah, well done, Miles, also. And all the rest of the people that won. Francis, what have you been up to?
I reviewed another bike. That's pretty much all I've done. It was good. It was really good. It was one of the bikes that you guys sent in for one of our roast videos, and it was towards the end of the video, and we were looking at it, and it was a custom build, and then we were like, the guy was describing it, and we heard about the price, and we were like, how does this bike exist? How is it so cheap? It's a steel gravel bike, and I should probably double check the price. The price has changed. This is why it's confusing me. Essentially, it was already good value as we portrayed it in the video, but this is after there were changes in tariffs because they're a Portland-based company. So it was about £675 when you convert it. There is postage costs and import things to think about. However, just a couple of months ago, it was $100 less. So it's just insane value. It is like micro shift, decent set of wheels, good hubs. All the little details on the bike are fantastic. Nice steel frame. And I think unbeatable value, hence the chosen title of the video in the end.
Which was?
Which I stand by and I think is true. The best value gravel bike in the world ever. Something like that. It really was fantastic.
There were some issues with the bike, which typically would be non-negotiable in that it would be a write-off. But I've had a good chat with them. I think you've had a chat with them as well. I really like the guys. They are committed to making products that are going to get better over time and are targeted at people that actually want them and are really aiming for value. And I think, there's always going to be teething issues or challenges and problems as you lock in your product offering. I think over time, they are going to get stronger and stronger and better and better and better. And I think in a couple of iterations time, they're going to be like properly on the map as these are some of the best value bikes in the world.
Definitely. Teething issues is the right word. And it was only 2 small issues. One of them was very specific to me. I don't know if they've ever had it before. It was a problem with the brake adapter on the front brake getting squashed in the box. So that's not a common thing. And they would have fixed it straight away if I was a customer. The other issue was overspray of paint, like on the bolts. Yeah. And the guy, when I emailed them, because we put this in the video, we make sure these kind of things are documented, and then we asked them for right of reply. They came back. He goes, I'm in China as we speak, as I'm writing this email, fixing this issue and making sure it doesn't happen again. And it was an old batch of bikes. So I think if there's any time to give bike companies the benefit of the doubt, it's in this situation.
Oh, for sure.
Other than that, it's just that they've clearly spent a long time and a lot of thought into the specification and just speccing the right things that are not shit. and they've really done a good job because the price is just fantastic for what it is.
One of the issues is it doesn't currently go small enough. And I've talked to them about this, and it is going to go smaller. And this is the thing. I'm willing to give really small independent businesses, because it's literally just two people, the benefit of the doubt whilst they scale. Because at the end of the day, if the biggest bike brands in the world can't do it right, then I am definitely going to give two people trying to make a good bike brand the benefit of the doubt. And they do want to add more in. A lot of their customers are Latino people. Is that the correct term, Francis?
Yeah, correct.
And they know the average typical height of a lot of their demographic is smaller. So they know they want to add in smaller bikes as well. And yeah, I'm really excited for where they go in the future. Mint.
Mm-hmm. I haven't actually talked to them or emailed them back since I finished reviewing the bike. As always, it's going back to them, or maybe we are giving it to a charity or something. But I already want another one from them to have a go with, which is their Super Dame. This is the standard Dame. They do one with a carbon fork, an electric hydraulic group set.
What?
And 700C wheel. Yeah.
Electric?
Electric, yeah. FUOTW, which we have not tested before. We've only done the mechanical version. And it's $1,399. So it's like £1,040.
That is wild.
It could be the best bike in the world. Who knows?
Could
Who
be.
knows?
Could be.
Or the L2 could explode and we'll have a terrible time. We don't know until we try it. So maybe I'll send them an email and we'll get it. If you want to see that, put it in the comments.
Well, that's a YouTube video that you made this week, a YouTube video that we didn't make, but that I watched and want to recommend because I think it is worth a watch. Friend of ours, Harry Mack, who is an awesome rider and is also going to be attempting to defend his National Hill Climb Champion title this weekend. His videos got served to me the last couple of days. He's made a YouTube video about the bike he's going to be riding this year. It's a lesson in extreme carbon sanding, is what I would say. It's a sanded down Trekker 4.8 kilograms, and just some great little details in there. They've cut out his name on the down tube. It's really, really cool. And just, he's a great little storyteller as well. It's a really well put together video. He's also done one called How an Ex-Smoker Won the British National Hill Climb, which is kind of the story about his season last year culminating in him going to the champs and winning the champs. I've watched that one. It is properly good. Yeah, it's great.
Really, really, really good. And Harry's just an absolute mint person. I've also been following his results in the hill climbs this season, and he's pinging. I'm optimistic. He might be a 2-time National Hill Climb champ.
Do you think? I feel like, Francis, you've talked about this before. His specialty is the shorter distance versus, his main competition, I guess, would be someone like Andrew Feather, who is also incredible. And as we talked about, it is almost keeping up with Pog right now. So,
Yeah, but he's raced Feather 3 times this season, beaten him twice. Mm-hmm. And the time that he got beat by him, the podium was all within 1 second.
Oh, so it's going to be tight. It's going to be a great competition.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad that it's close. How cool is that for the everyone's speculating who's going to win. Andrew Feathers, I think, perhaps suited to slightly longer climbs, but they're both suited to shorter stuff. It's not 10-minute long climbs. The one they're racing is less than a kilometer, quite steep. So it would take a normal person. Maybe it'd take them 5 minutes, maybe even longer. But these guys will be doing it in 1 to 2 or something. It's just bonkers.
It's just wild, isn't it?
Yeah, Harry. He's such a good guy. He's a good friend. He's just a good person. So I really want to see him do well. And I think this suits him. He's done all of his previous hill climb efforts this year have been done on not the super, super light bike as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's going to be even faster. Did you see the little, the lights? Because he wants to be able to ride to and from the hill climb and have lights on his bike. And he put little lights from model cars, and they're teeny tiny, the lightest you could possibly get.
That's not the reason.
What is it? Oh, do you have to have them on?
You have to have lights for the race.
Oh, for the actual. Interesting.
Yeah. It's literally a couple of grams for a front and rear light. They don't work, but it ticks the boxes. Well, they do work. It is a light, and it's surprisingly bright, but they're not going to
Not for very long.
Yeah, they're not going to save your life. They're not going to increase your visibility. And if the police saw you, they'd probably still pull you over if you're using them in the night. But in terms of the requirements for the race, I'm sure it was like 4 grams for the front and the rear. And obviously, once they run out of battery, you basically have to throw them in the bin and put new ones on.
Unglue them.
Yeah.
Pull them off.
Yeah, literally.
That's so cool. Check out the video of his bike. It's very, very good. And his storytelling's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Okay, it is time to delve into some news. First up, a Dutch pro rider went viral this week after getting disqualified from the Tour of Holland over a very, very naughty seat post. Did you see it?
It looks broken.
It does look broken, yeah. It's got a bend in the middle, which sort of throws the saddle much further forward than a standard seat post would. This rider, his name is
Jan Willem van Schip.
Jan Willem van Schip, and he is a bit of a maverick, I think we'd say. Apparently he regularly rocks up to races with an unusual setup, which also includes teeny tiny handlebars, a helmet that wouldn't look out of place on a motorbike, and quite round bulbous glasses as well. It is a look, and he is rocking it out. Anyway, commissioners checked his kit before the race and actually allowed him to ride the opening stage. But then a call came through from UCI HQ in Switzerland overruling their decision and disqualifying him post-stage. Now, Escape Collective says it's his 4th fine or DQ for equipment-related issues, but his team says they're going to appeal the ban because he's been riding the setup for several years, apparently, and he has paperwork showing it's allowed, they say.
I'm quite surprised that you've picked the seat post as the reason that it's drawn attention, because this was definitely going viral on social, and I saw it, because he basically rode off the course on some grass to get to the front, and then went off the front with his like mad, very high front end, almost TT position, but not a TT position. And I think, I had to skim through the comments, and people were going to town on calling him out for this horrible, ugly setup, and it should be banned, and it should be this. And I'm like, it's like the old school O'Bray days. Graham O'Bray, the guy that once upon a time had the hour record and pioneered the Superman position and then a T-Rex position or something. I can't remember what it was called. Like, if people are into performance and people are into aero, then you should be worshipping this guy, because he's actually out there trying to find faster positions. And I'm willing to bet that his position is really, really fast. It surprises me. I guess the only thing they could get him on was the seat post, i.e. the saddle setback rules is probably what they've pulled him on.
Isn't it mad? He could have just ridden the new Ridley for the same position.
Well, he'd had to put a lot of spaces in it to get his front end where he wants it.
Am I a cynic for thinking that maybe this is a PR stunt?
There's no way it's a PR stunt. For this guy?
Yeah.
No, there's a handful of people that are pioneering the super high position, and I'm willing to bet this guy. Well, if he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, I mean, we all hate the UCI. I think we're in agreement about that. But and their handlebar rules are ridiculous and not fit for purpose. But I guess
You're saying there's a line, Emily.
there's maybe a line, and like this guy is a big human and is riding teeny. I mean, he's in a position which is essentially almost a TT position. It looks like he's on TT bars, ultimately the size of these handlebars. Like,
this is the future. This is how everything's going to end up if UCI don't put their foot down, I suppose, because the pro teams I think we're only just at the start of people starting to use these kind of tactics and bike positions. There was a guy, there's always someone in a road race who does this kind of thing. In the UK, there was a guy who won basically every Hillingdon. I don't know where he's gone, if he's still racing. He was racing for Dynamo, who had some mad aero position, and he won every single one. So it works. Like, if you can get a gap.
For
it's basically on a
clarity,
TT bike.
though, he didn't win it because of the position. He would presumably have been an incredibly strong bike rider as well to stay away.
As well. But I don't know if he would have won as many if he wasn't doing all of those things. Like, it makes a big difference.
I think this is a great example of confusing the difference between performance athletes and normal people. And I think performance athletes should be pushing the boundaries and they should be pushing the limits of what is physically possible. And the rest of the world going, well, that's their thing, but I'm going to ride what I want to ride and not have to follow suit and go for the extreme aeroness of it. Like, we are not the same as professional athletes. And I don't see any reason, I don't see any issues with it at all. I want innovation, I want performance, and I want to see people pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Also, the glasses are very good.
They're class. They are properly class.
Yeah. He reminds me of Riddick.
Oh, yeah, they are a
Chronicles
bit
of
Riddick, aren't they?
and Pitch Black.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Dr. Eggman off Sonic. Anyway.
Or the little glasses that my mum would wear when she would go sunbathing, and she wears these little tiny black glasses that just cover her eyes. Less cool than the previous two.
Well, slightly on the topic of marginal gains and whether they are BS or not. Next up, ketone supplements were once thought to be a miracle performance enhancer, but the UCI has now ruled that they, aren't. And they're essentially now telling riders to avoid using them because they don't really do anything. So ketones are a chemical compound naturally produced by your liver when it breaks down fat. And in recent years, synthetic versions have become widely available, touted as a performance booster and a recovery aid. They became so popular, in fact, that it prompted the UCI to look into the science around them. Essentially, they wanted to work out whether they need proper regulation. But actually, the governing body has concluded that there is, quote, no compelling evidence that they do either of these things. So they acknowledge that a couple of initial studies found that taking ketones could boost your performance and or rapidly improve recovery. However, the UCI says the results were not backed up by subsequent studies and that the current consensus is that ketones have no effect on either of these things. But the supplement brands have hit back. The CEO of Visma Leaser Bike's partner, Ketone IQ, said they respectfully disagree, while the CEO of Astana Kazakhstan and Sudal Quickstep supplier, Ketone Aid, called the UCI intervention puzzling. Obviously, they have their reasons to do that. They're presumably spending a lot of money on this sponsorship, so it would be a shame if people thought they were expensive and not good for anything.
It is a bit puzzling that the UCI are saying don't take them, because that doesn't seem like it's their job to do that.
Yeah,
it feels
get
like
that.
it's their job to look at it and go, is it safe? Is it bad for people's health? You review it and go, no, it does nothing. And you go, well, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But ketones don't do anything.
They must be spending some mad money to get onto they advertise in huge publications and podcasts, and we must have had 1 million emails from them of them trying to get us to talk about them as well.
We have had, usually every year around the Tour de France, we'll be contacted from all of the ketone companies that are desperate to throw any amount of money at us for us to advertise them through the Tour de France. And as you have never seen us talk about it, you will know that I have rejected them every single time, because there has never been any good science which says they work. One of our good friends, Will Gerling, he's a professional nutritionist. He was with EF. He's now with Red Bull. This is nothing to do with his work with them, but I asked him, what's the crack with ketones? And to quote, ketones don't do anything. He actually had a few swear words in there, but it's easier if we just don't have to bleep them.
Do you remember there was a video of stockbroker to pro cyclist on YouTube? I can't remember what channel uploaded it, and it was about Alex Richardson's, like he used to be a stockbroker, trained to become a pro cyclist. And he had like a cupboard in his house in one of the clips, and it's just full of ketones. It was very good.
I feel like ketones are probably like chain waxing, and people who are into it are really into it. But placebos work. I mean, I don't actually know anything about the science. I'm not going to pretend like I know if they work or not. You said that we have never talked about them. Francis did do a video a long time ago, which was not sponsored, but it did investigate the idea of them and spoke to some scientists and kind of looked at the available research at the time.
I used an expert, but she was dietitian, not a nutritionist.
Right.
And the research was obviously, like, I think she was very complimentary of the research, but the research clearly was not good enough. This is why science is always just an absolute can of worms, isn't it? So what the studies were showing, if that was true, would have been fantastic and amazing. But I think more scientists come out saying they don't really do anything.
It's hard, isn't it? Like science studies are kind of like white papers in the sense of you have to go back to find what the test parameters are, who are funding them, what the sample size is, and have them peer reviewed and have them scrutinized and probably perform 3 more in different ways. And then you kind of get a more robust picture, I guess.
Well, the biggest issue I've always had, specifically with the ketone idea as a supplement, is they go, you will get loads of performance gains, but you got to spend £150 a month. And I go, well, I'll just not take those performance gains. I'll just live my life as I am. Thank you very much. See you later. I can't get behind that.
Yeah, I mean, we're just not the people. It's why you would never accept money from a ketone brand, because what are we going to say? Like, we're clearly, we don't give a crap about performance. What are we going to say?
Oh no, I do care about performance. Like if it was like, you can do this thing which isn't going to damage you, doesn't cost or, you know, an argument for it is eating healthy, eating well, eating fruit and veg, you know, getting enough fiber, eating enough protein, all of those things. If eating well makes you a better person, whether that be athletically or not, then I'm going to do it. And thus, that's why I do it. And it's the same thing with all of these things. Like, at the end of the day, if you think of food as a supplement, which essentially it is, then prioritize that.
Oh, do you think like heavy doping just makes you a better person in everyday life as well? Just eat EPO every day.
I don't think it's going to make you a better person, no.
There's only one way to find out. Or we take Harry Mack and put him on drugs.
Well, I guess there's 2 ways, isn't it? We can do a study where we take 2 identical twins with equal FTPs, and we'll feed one exclusively EPO, and we'll feed the other one exclusively potatoes, and we'll see who becomes the best athlete. No, not even the best athlete.
That seems like science to me.
Who becomes the most fun to be around? That's what we'll base it on.
Harry Mack sent me a voice note. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
This might have to be censored.
Wait, have you heard it already?
No.
Okay, great.
He literally just sent it to me. I messaged him saying, we're talking about you in the podcast. Do you have anything to say?
Okay, right, cool.
Yo, I'm just about to cycle home. I don't think I've actually got any mad kind of secrets. Like, I don't know, like the lights Somali were pretty fun. But yeah, I actually don't know what to say. I think I put most of it in the video, in the YouTube video. Look at the YouTube video. That's the main thing. That has like the most information on the bike. Yeah. But I'll be home in like 30, 40 minutes if you still want to chat about it then.
Well, that was not that interesting. You can chop all of this out.
He's a salesman. Go and watch his YouTube video. Don't give away his secrets for free. Go and watch the man's YouTube video. Put that watch time up.
Usually something happens with Harry that can't go in the YouTube video. So I was just checking. Meanwhile, Rapha have revealed they've made a loss for the 8th year running. New accounts show they made an operating loss of over £17 million last year and net losses of 15.6 million. And while that sounds bad, it's 4 million less than they lost the previous year, so it's going in the right direction. However, their turnover is also down. It fell from 110 million to 96 million, but they say it's due to a conscious effort to stop offering so many discounts and sales.
Yeah, their CFO described it as coming off the discount drug, and I think that it's something that a lot of cycling brands have been grappling with post-pandemic, because the pandemic happened and everyone was buying kit, and then everyone upped their stock levels, and all of a sudden there was an abundance of kit, and everyone had too much stock, and then the sales started, and if everyone's doing a sale and you're the only one not, then you stop selling anything as well. So it's better to sell stuff for a discount, a loss, whatever it is, than not sell it all. And I think that a lot of brands got caught into that trap. I know so many people who wait for the Rapha sale rather
Oh, it's
than
become
buying.
a joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like it's a thing people laugh about. Like, oh, just wait for it to be. Every time a new piece of kit comes out, might as well wait for the sale.
And it's a slippery slope to get caught up into, isn't it?
I think with the pandemic specifically as well, is it feels like everyone bought so much kit that
Do you mean brands or consumers?
consumers, everyone owned so much kit that they didn't need more. So there had to be a really big motivating factor for them to keep buying more. And as you said, there was definitely a lot of the bigger brands for sure that stocked so heavily that they had no option other than to find ways of clearing their shelves.
This news comes as Rapha officially announced the end of its partnership with EF Pro Cycling. Instead, they're going to sponsor USA Cycling until 2029, which means Team USA cyclists will be wearing Rapha at the 2028 Olympics in LA. It's a pretty timely move.
It is, yeah. I heard the CEO, Fran Miller, was basically saying that they hope the LA Olympics does for cycling in the US what London 2012 did for cycling in this country. There was a huge boom off the back of it, and it felt like Rapha really came up on the wave of that in this country. For Rapha, the US is their third biggest market, roughly 20% of their business. Their other biggest markets are the UK and Germany, which was similar for Atticus at the time that we owned it. Don't know now. They said they're also focusing on expanding in emerging markets like Asia, which we've seen with companies like Panomal, for example. So, Fran's only been at the company for a year, and these figures are 9 months behind. So they only represent a small portion of her time there. And obviously, I would say larger ships take longer to steer. But they seem to be confident in the figures.
Yeah, I quite like Fran. I think she's good, and that's a really interesting. You know, they will have the best data of the impact of the Olympics on an apparel brand than anyone else out there, and it's really interesting then how they're positioning themselves. Because initially I was like, that seems like such odd news. What, like Team USA seems like it's not that big a deal. I then forgot about the Olympic effect. We know how significant that is, and it started a whole new wave of cycling in the UK, which is now dying off, sadly. Will this have it's a really, really good thing for them to position themselves with, and 2028 is still quite a way away. So it's exciting because it ultimately, if it does have that impact, it'll have a huge impact on the other markets as well. So it might be that turnaround that we're all hoping for in the industry.
Yeah, and just outside of, industry selling people stuff, what it hopefully will mean is there's a passion for cycling and there will be more people on bikes.
That's what I mean. Yeah, totally.
Oh, we'll just not get run over for a while. That'll be good, won't it? Do you remember how nice it was when there was that like Olympic fever in England and people were nice to you?
Was it not like people winding their windows down and going, all right, Bradley Wiggins, oh, he thinks he's in the Tour de France, he thinks he's in the Olympics.
But at least they were like on the other side of the road while they did it.
Yeah, fair, maybe, okay.
Instead of running you over.
On this topic, Scottish brand Endura also posted their annual accounts for last year, and they lost 4.7 million after tax. The year previous, they'd lost 13.8 million. So again, it shows that the trend of things is that they're starting to get better. Their gross profit improved as well. They're owned by a massive company as well, so they've got an out to worry about. But I think more generally, there seems to be a bit more positivity in the industry. This is what the vibe I got from the conversations we'd had with brands at Bike Biz.
Yeah, like if we're going to use two very large businesses losing less money than they did the year before as a positive sign, which I think we can do, then there is light at the end of the tunnel. Shall we do Fluff Up of the Week? I think it's got my name on it this time.
This one is a Jimmy special, because what I realised as I was editing last week's podcast, that Jimmy decided to invite Bradley Wiggins out for beers right after a story where I said he was sober and in Narcotics Anonymous. He did it not once, not twice, but about 3 times as well.
Perhaps not the best choice of words. I will slightly defend myself in that it was never actually meant as alcohol and beers, and it was more representative. It's like one of those like phrases that we use in the UK, which is essentially like an informal social setting rather than a formal one. Like I don't want to meet him at a bike event or like a black tie event. I just want to kind of like hang out in a lovely little calm, relaxing social setting, perhaps a coffee shop. Maybe I should change the term to a couple of coffees instead.
Yes, I think that'll be better. I think I know people who have previously battled with alcohol and now sober, and I used to work with a guy who was awesome, and all the time having to struggle with, oh, you're coming out for a pint, you're coming out for, and they know, I mean, you just come for a chat and stuff, but you're constantly faced with this kind of like, oh, do I say no, or do I just go along with it, or blah blah blah. We do actually just need to change the rhetoric of, it is just almost a figure of speech, and as British people, we are very attracted to the idea of the pub, but actually being cyclists, it's a great way to socialise without centering alcohol, isn't it?
But it's nothing to do with pubs, because I don't like pubs.
Okay. And you also don't like beer, Jimmy.
Well, the problem is I can't say I'll go for a ride because he's like unfit, if that's what he wants to be labelled as. Bradley Wiggins is still going to be an absolute monster on a bike, so I can't ride bikes with him, sadly.
You can just say go for a couple of orange juices.
So, well, I would like to formally apologise to Sir Bradley Wiggins, and no, you cannot come out for beers with me.
Just coffees.
Just coffees. And orange juices.
Today's episode of the Wild Ones podcast is supported by Garmin.
I've actually been using Garmin bike computers and watches for well over a decade now.
Yeah, me too.
I actually bought my first one in 2012. It was the Forerunner 410, and I was training for my very first triathlon at the time.
And how did that go, Jimmy?
Well, it would have gone great if I hadn't accidentally miscounted my bike laps and got myself DQ'd for doing one short.
Rookie error. You should have used the laps function.
I know. But my point is, Garmin's have been part of our lives for a long time now. So it was a bit of a full circle moment when they came on board to support the channel.
And they don't just make watches and head units with bike-specific GPS mapping and performance monitoring.
Nope. They also make power meters, heart rate monitors, smart bike lights that capture video and alert you when cars are approaching, tax indoor trainers, and so much more.
So thank you to Garmin for supporting this podcast.
Right, time for some unpopular opinions. We're going to read out some cycling hot takes, debate them, and decide if we agree or disagree. And the first one's from Jim. Is it you?
Yeah.
Yeah. My unpopular opinion.
Jokes aside, I have submitted unpopular opinions to Emily in the past, and she never puts them in.
Have you?
How many emails has Jimmy sent?
Well, not by email. I'll message something and go, oh yeah, this is potentially one that I'd like to do. It just gets ignored, so I don't bother anymore.
I don't think this whole podcast is your one big unpopular opinion from you, Jimmy.
The first one's from Jim, who's not Jimmy, and he says, my unpopular opinion is that gravel is taking a market share away from the roadie community almost exclusively due to the relaxed geometries of the bikes. After years of uncomfortable middle-aged men on race bikes with their clubs on Saturdays, it's a way for those same people to talk about relaxed geometry bikes in a positive way, because it doesn't upset the legacy and dogma of those in Superman poses with their saddle 5 foot higher than the bars, pretending they're in the Tour de France. I also think the marketing cultivates this in a way that endurance geometry has failed to do among the big bike manufacturers since their inception 20 plus years ago. I'm not saying gravel isn't fun. I'm just saying they're not supported enough to just buy endurance bikes.
At first, I was like, this is whack. I don't agree with this. But then his point, I quite like. I see where he's going with it. He's essentially
There's definitely
saying,
truth in that. The marketing is that's so true. Bike companies haven't managed to convince a lot of people that endurance bikes are cool. And can be ridden, and to not be conscious that they're riding an endurance bike. There's still this underlying pressure that why are you riding a Roubaix, which is ridiculous because it's the one that fits the majority of people who buy bikes at that price point.
I disagree with his point. I disagree with the idea that gravel is taking market share away from the roadie community. I don't think it's an either or. I think there are some in the roadie community who have adopted gravel cycling. And I guess, yes, you could say if the discipline didn't exist, then more people would find a road bike. But I think that the idea that it's almost exclusively down to the geometry is also a stretch. I think the reason that gravel has become popular is, number one, when you have been riding a bike for a long time, things get a bit samey, and it's exciting to have new routes and new techniques to explore, but also the equipment still feels incredibly familiar. It's still essentially a drop bar bike, but it's a little bit different. I think we're all little kids that want fun new toys at heart, and I think the reason it became popular is because it's a chance for people who are sort of roadie orientated to broaden their horizons and explore their hobby and enjoyment more.
Yeah, I did it that way, and you did it that way,
Yeah.
and Jimmy did it that way. But do you think, based on the Primos, that there are actually lots of people that go the other way now because it's a more accessible and safer route into cycling? Someone who might not have the confidence straight away to jump onto a road bike. Like, I did it when I was a teenager, and you just don't care and don't think you'll ever have an accident or whatever. But there's lots of people who might not feel safe on the roads, and now there's loads of choice of gravel bikes, which is fantastic, and they fit you.
Correct. Well, this is my second point. I think the other reason gravel is popular because it gets you off roads and away from cars. Mm-hmm. And I think that is also why it's risen in popularity. It's why, if cars weren't an option, I probably would ride my gravel bike a lot less. But I ride my gravel bike more than my road bike, and it's because, number one, you can turn your brain off slightly more. Like it's what I like running. You don't have to be, it doesn't feel like you're driving a car. You're not navigating traffic. You can kind of switch your brain off and just enjoy the activity, relax more. And I think that's down to, I guess, safety, cars, whatever you want to call it. I think that is, for me, I'm not saying his point is completely invalid, but I don't think it's anywhere near almost exclusively to do with the geometry.
I think the positive thing about gravel bikes as a whole is if you can only have one bike, it's a more versatile bike. You can ride a gravel bike perfectly fine on the road, unless you're a bike racer, which is basically no one. And you can have one bike, like the Primos, if you want to bring it back to that. It's like you could have that. It isn't just a gravel bike. You can commute on it. You can do road rides on it. You can do anything you want on it. And therefore, it's just a much more accessible product than a 23mm tyre, hard gears, and this is kind of like typical language that people use. A saddle that is like sitting on a, what do they normally, well, I can't even think what people normally describe it as. They usually be like, oh, I don't know how you can sit on that saddle.
Next, Marius says, I've got an unpopular opinion for you. TT bikes would make great commuting bikes because you could shorten your commute by essentially being super fast and aero. All you need is a super aero TT bike with ample tyre clearance that allows you to fit mudguards, a skin suit for winter conditions, and of course a very ugly helmet. Which would be, sorry, this isn't him saying this or them saying this. Their helmets are also very warm. So for winter commuting, it would keep your ears warm. P.S. Don't take this too seriously. Neither do I own a TT bike, nor do I actually commute longer distances.
I have seen people on TT bikes commuting in London, and it is nearly always because they've got a race on the weekend and they need to get their bike serviced, and the easiest way of doing that is riding it to the bike shop.
Yeah, only one downside I see, which is less control, I would say.
Significantly less control, yeah. You would need to set it up for commuting.
You can't brake.
Yeah.
There's no brakes on the extensions, and everyone would be on the extensions, and then a taxi would pull out in front of them, and then they'd crash into the taxi.
Whereas if you really want to strip it down, a lot of TT bikes, not super modern ones, the ones which are around sort of 10 years ago, they're essentially track frames. And then if you also then look at fixie culture and take the TT, the extensions off, the old bullhorn handlebar is actually what some fixie riders used to use. So actually what he's saying is just use a fixie with gears to commute on. And on that basis, excellent
A
argument.
fixie with gears?
Well, yeah, it's not a fixie then, is it?
So just a bike?
Well, yes, but more really aggressive geometry
right.
that's nimble as hell.
Do you have an unpopular opinion? We want to hear it.
No, wait, there's another one.
What?
Jez.
Next, Jez says, unpopular opinion. I think it's unnecessary for cyclists to constantly point out every pothole, drain, or bit of debris on group rides. I understand the intention, but group rides work best when everyone rides smoothly and predictably. Overusing hand signals can create jittery reactions among riders, which can end up being more dangerous than most small imperfections in the road. Constantly pointing out every little flaw in the tarmac dilutes the importance of genuinely hazardous obstacles and makes it hard to gauge what really matters. Good visual awareness should be part of every rider's discipline. We should rely entirely on others to flag every potential issue. Thanks for the great content. He's saying it's like the boy who cried wolf with all the little potholes, and then you go, it's just going to be another little one, and then you go, whoa, fall in.
I would argue then that he's riding in a group where they are not correctly using hand signals if he feels like they're not being used correctly. Like it sounds like it's the group riding etiquette that's causing the issue, because I am all for the maximum amount of communication, because the more that's communicated, the more likely it is that everyone's going to be safe and kept upright. But if people are pointing out stuff that actually doesn't require adjustment, then it shouldn't be pointed out in the first place. The whole point of hand signals is if I have to deviate from being glued to the wheel in front of me, then I should know about it. But if I don't have to deviate, then it shouldn't be signaled out.
Yeah, but I think there's a sweet spot, and I think that's what he's trying to get at. People go mad with it, and they point out too many things, and that does happen. I've seen it.
I can assure you that I have seen significantly more of not pointed out enough than pointed out too much.
Well, it goes. You ride with people. The more experienced they are, they do good hand signals, and then it reaches a point where it's like, I'll go for a ride with Tony, and there's just a 0, but everyone's fine, and it's just how it works.
My unpopular opinion is that I am not willing to get close to someone on a group, close enough that I would need every single thing pointed out. I will always sit half a wheel back. I'm fine to lose that little bit of wind unless I really trust them and trust their judgment as well.
I think it does kind of come down to the scale and experience as well, though, because like if you're out with 2 of your mates, then you don't really need to call out that much. You know, like if you, Tony, and a couple of other people are going out for a spin, then it's not that big a deal. You can see what's going on. If there's 12 of you on the road, then you know the back end of that group are very reliant on what's being told is going on in front of them. But at the end of the day, you should still be following the wheel in front of you. So if the wheel moves out because there's a pothole, then you should be following that wheel.
I agree. When I've ridden with Francis before, you don't point out as much as maybe Jimmy points out for me. I think he goes over the top maybe for me. But what you do, Francis, is you move and you expect people to move behind you. And I think that it's just getting used to the people that you're riding with. I'm definitely not comfortable with, I wouldn't ride on the wheel of a stranger personally.
To be honest, I also think it depends on the bike. Because if I'm on like, if I'm riding gravel tires on a road, if I know that everyone around me is on like 35+ mil tires, I probably call out practically nothing because I know you can just ride through potholes. Whereas if everyone's on like a proper fast group ride, then it's much more important that a pothole gets mentioned if there's a possibility it can have an impact. But I think it just depends a lot on the group, the people in the group, the type of riding that you're doing, the speed of the riding. Is it a training session? Is everyone on the limit or is everyone relaxed? You know, there are a lot of things, but generally communication is a positive thing. But I don't know, maybe Jez should have a chat with the cyclists he rides with and come up with a slightly more refined method of communication that works better for everyone. 1 finger point for a level 1 pothole, which is not very much. 2 finger point for a level 2. Whole hand for it's a crater that you're going to fall into. Oh, this is already a thing with the volume of the how loud you shout. Hole is directly proportional to the size of the pothole. Yeah. So you're like hole, and that one you probably can just ride over. Hole. And then that volume, you have to start actually taking, you know, maybe I should brace myself for impact here. Anything above that, you're taking evasive action. But I would also say, if you ride on your own and you ride off-road, then it takes away all of these complications. Because everything is a pothole. Everything's a pothole, so nothing's a pothole. I remember the first time I rode a modern mountain bike, and it was with Francis, and it's so weird because you instinctively know you can just ride into a curb and don't have to do anything and it'll just ride over the top.
Oh, straight down the black trail. Yeah.
It's such an interesting, like, the bike also makes has a huge impact on like how dangerous riding is. So really, we actually should all be riding gravel bikes on road as well, because there will be less people coming down in groups.
I think you are underestimating staying calm when hitting bumps on a road bike, because even if you ride over some quite big thing, not like they're not going to cause you a puncture, but quite jarring, then actually if you just stay relaxed and you ride. Otherwise, there'd be so many more crashes. There'd be loads of crashes in road racing because you do hit loads of stuff.
There is.
And the little cat's eyes in the middle of the road. No, but it's always caused by a piece of road furniture. Or it's never the surface. Well, more rarely the surface. The cat's eyes is the maddest bit. They do actually remove them sometimes for races.
Poor cats.
Do you have an unpopular opinion? Well, we want to hear it. Send yours to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk and you might feature on a future episode.
And don't forget, you can also send your questions and comments for Listeners Takeover, like this one from Jason, who says, "Hello from Texas. I really enjoy the show. I've also really gotten into the bike packing videos. One of the things I notice in those videos is a lot of riding with no hands. I know there's a benefit to this when it comes to eating and other things like changing clothes. My question is, what can you do to get good at it? Thanks for all that you do for the sport. Love the videos. Keep up the good work." Well, first, may I just point out that we don't actually ride no hands that much, but when there is a safe opportunity to pull the camera out and film, everyone also goes, and sits up and stretches out their backs. And that's why everyone's no hands.
Yeah, it actually isn't. Technically, you shouldn't do it because it's less safe. And I guess something which does make a difference is the geometry of the bike as well. So the more relaxed a bike is, the more stable it is. The longer the wheelbase is, the more stable it is. Like a super twitchy race bike with super short stays and just, like a proper crit racing bike, it will be harder to no-hand than a mountain bike will. But it's not really a skill that you need to be able to do, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think wheeling is probably the one you should be focusing on. Wheeling is legitimately cool, and anyone that can wheelie is a god. No handing is just one of them things.
Yeah, way safer, wheeling.
Well, no, it's not safer, but it's cooler.
No hands. Learning to ride no hands teaches you how to shift your weight around and has other benefits and makes you better at handling a bike in general. So I think it's a really valuable skill to learn. Interestingly enough, most of the time, if you put bags all over your bike and go on a bike packing trip, the bike is more stable, unless you put your bags on stupidly and your handlebars wobble side to side, in which case it becomes very sketch. But on the whole, I think because there's weight like down on the forks and in those kind of places, or a bar bag, the whole bike is a lot more stable.
Yeah, his question is, what can you do to get good at it? Practice somewhere safe.
Well, I would, some practical recommendations. Start with loosening your grip on the bars and riding along and see if you can hold yourself up just with your core, really loose grip, and then move to one hand and get used to how that feels, and even try steering with your body a little bit. See what the bike does, just small movements left and right, and then eventually move to taking your hands off very, very slightly, but you can still grab on in a safe way if you start to lose control or feel like you're going to lose control. Just go bit by bit, slowly. That would be the recommendation. Eventually, when you sit up completely, you reach a new stage of feeling comfortable. Mm-hmm. And once you get there, then you're rolling.
And if you're going to take your clothes off or change your clothes while you're doing it, just make sure they don't get caught in any of your your bits.
Have we ever talked about nibs?
Yes.
Has he dropped a jacket in his wheel or something?
No, the first time I ever rode with nibs was at Velathon, Wales, many moons ago. I'll do it just really quickly. And we were just absolutely smashing it, me and him. We were like averaging 40 kph on a 100-mile ride, absolutely bashing it. And then he got to the point where he's like, I better get my warmers off. And he's like pedaling with one foot out on the other side, flicking off all his leg warmers. Whilst no handing at the same time, and all of the pro style levels of de-layering. It was wonderful to see. I do not recommend it to anyone, mind.
No, I agree completely with your sentiment, Francis. this person, what's their name? Jason has
Jason.
said it's beneficial when it comes to stuff like eating and changing clothes. I disagree. It's beneficial in terms of the confidence and handling skill of your bike. What you then do with that is up to you, but just having more confidence, feeling more stable, having more balance and ways to maneuver your bike is just way more beneficial than changing clothes.
Don't let showboating YouTubers make you think that actually it's a good time to eat and change your clothes. It is, if anything, the highest risk and most ridiculous time to eat and change your clothes. Like Francis, the amount of times he's filming whilst no handing, it isn't safe. It's not the best way to do it, because if he crashes, he can't keep making films. But yeah, it's showboating at the end of the day.
You're underestimating how well a video would do if I crashed in the thumbnail and title. It's a win-win-win.
Right, I think that's it.
Damn, that's it.
Well done, everyone. We got to the end. That's all for this week. Thank you all very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. We shall see you next time, and goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.